y'all. So today on the show, we got my big bro, Boogie Frantick. Yeah, it was so dope to get a chance to catch up with him. This guy is a living museum. He's a curator of West Coast style, from movement to the way he dresses. He's a role model around the world to a lot of folks. Now he's, traveling, teaching workshops around the world. He's been on all types of shows and stages. But the thing that I think everybody loves about him too is his sense of humor is all right, but but on top of that, he just keeps it real. He's got a crazy story to share, and we dive deep into a little background. So I hope y'all enjoy it. It was always an honor to know this guy, so just want to share him with y'all. So check it out. Peace. Recording. So this is our first time, bro.
Yeah.
Show number one.
Numero uno.
Yeah, so me and Frantick just got done shooting 7K footage, man.
7K, bro.
The future is here.
Thank God they got 8K TVs now, but
It's not gonna handle it.
I mean, if you can afford it.
Yeah, streaming can't handle that stuff. But so what were we doing there? I really.
So today was just a concept and a practice run, working with Steady Jess. You can follow her on Instagram at Steady Jess with an I.
Shout out to Jess.
But shout out to Bad News for making that connection. He was like, yo, I guess she hit him up, and then he was like, you know what, I think he would be interested in working with my boy. He loves that kind of shit. So we just ended up meeting up for coffee, a quick little lunch, and then we just were like, yo, let's try to put our ideas together and work as a unit. She's amazing because she wants to bridge the gap between performers and artists with camera artists and camera like execution, people that just execute their job really well, Mm-hmm. So she was like, dude, I really want to really help the dance community and actors and as well and many different other artists, and try to bridge the gap, and let's all work together. Let's figure out how we can use our resources,
Yeah.
So if you guys are good at moving, then we're good at capturing it, but you don't have to have a guy just sitting there fucking going in and out and trying to make it look fucking cool, you know what I'm saying? So we actually have people who are pros at their job and really understand the dynamic of what cinematography really is, and dancers don't really understand that either, so it's just point and shoot, and it's always in one direction, as opposed to somebody moving around them and really saying look, we can really capture this much more, and there's lighting behind you, and there's a sunset, there's a silhouette, there's a shadow, so there's a lot of people that really are, that aren't on that level, but they have a camera and they're fucking working their asses off, so it'll teach them also how to fucking be better at what they do, so it's cool, man.
There's a lot of nuance to that, it was a trip. In there, it was a trip just to have such a high quality resolution with the lighting. Also, it was a certain framing, so it's not full body, which we're used to, or battle footage, whether you're at Summer Dance or Just Debut, where you got this real full piece. So what I noticed when we were in there was fucking crazy to me, because you were saying, Bad News introduced you to her, saying that you like this type of shit, but this type of shit is it's your shit. By type of shit you mean this kind of it's it's film. It's and that when I was in there, I was watching me move, and I was like, damn, bro, you gotta level your shit up, because it was a lot of my stuff I was used to combining with different pieces of my body.
Yeah.
And then that was completely lost. So like I'm up here and I'm completely frozen while something else is moving down here. And it just looks like I'm standing still. But meanwhile, then like you come into the picture and you're like
constant, in the fucking
like
camera,
in the camera.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, oh shit, to really observe that. Both, it's the collaboration of the filmer and yourself. But I was like thinking to myself, I was telling her, you know, he's like a West Coast legend, right? She's like, oh yeah, I don't really know this world, you know. I was like, well, yeah, he's a legend out here. And then, but then like you showed it when you were getting, you know, filmed. It was like, I was trying to think of another popper that really had that presence on film, you know. And I can't really think of many other people. Whether it's like, I don't know, even like Les Twins or something like that, you know, they have their own style of things, but there's something really kind of I used to ride that thing. So yeah, it's just like there's different dancers and they have different skills, but I felt like the way that you move, not only right now, it was more like even when you battle and stuff, it's like a movie. I remember the first time I saw you at Soundproof, you know, when you hit the slow-mo, and I was like, yo, I looked at everybody around like I felt like time warped, you know, like the time slowed down, and it was almost like you created a movie style.
Cinema is really like a mad inspiration for me. Like even to this day, like the movie It, the first one, the remake. You know, there's a moment where the kid comes down from the library and he's like it's just like fuck, like that kind of dynamic is like really what inspired me to make my style fit to something that looks realistic but is fake, and then fake but realistic. So it's like, how do I mesh the idea? And then when I started to work, thankfully, you know, because of Chris Scott, like I started to work behind the camera, like really work behind the camera and understand the intricacy of like just a frame, you know, from 30, 40, 35 to 40 to 50 to 60, and then just like understanding like, okay, this is as wide as I can go, so this is all you can get, you know. But if I back up, now I can step, you know what I mean? So like the further you are away from the camera, the more you see, but the less you read. And this is what's fucking crazy, because when you watch like films and you see like when the person's like really emotionally in it, you can read from their mouth, from their eyes, from their eyebrows, the way their eyes flicker, like the emotion is there, you know. But when you're far away, somebody can just you have to be more exaggerated, you know, and it becomes fucking corny, dude. So like I had to really understand my style and say, okay, how do I internalize the movement but project to the point where like the shit just reads so fucking well, you know? And I think it was just seeing the playback, like when I did the wave, you know, with the powder, the fucking real character that came out, just playing with fucking powder, and like never playing with that shit in my life. Fucking planes, but yeah, like improvising the whole entire way, but then really understanding their perspective, like the DP and what she was like looking at and what was cinematic, and then my surrounding. Like, how do you make something look so epic? You know what I mean? And it's the lighting, bro. The lighting, the fog, the fucking, like, everything is
fabric
fucking...
you wear.
Yeah, everything, dude. So I was like, God damn, like, this is my moment. Because always watching horror films, I'd always be impressed by how crazy scary they made one fucking scene look. And it's literally when he comes into the picture, like Jason Voorhees, and he's just like... And it's just this little shit, bro. Like, you know, it makes him look bigger than he is. And he's holding a big ass fucking machete. He's got a crazy ass mask. You're just like, fuck. like it makes you feel so small. You know what I mean? So I was like, how do I become that as I battle? And I realized that through my own eyes, I had to make myself really believe I was fucking scary. So when it came to really like battling myself, it wasn't just creating fucking like moves and concepts. It was really looking at my own eyes and understanding my intensity. And then like what I wanted to say. You know what I mean? Like if I said you ain't shit, you would see it in my eyes. You ain't shit. Like and what I'm doing ain't shit and it's too easy. This ain't shit. It's too fucking easy. And I'm still smoking you. You know what I mean? Like the intensity behind that is really what people don't understand. And I feel like on camera, when I got to really play that and see myself that close with the intensity of like especially when Chad threw a fucking bolt at me and I was like, and I just like wiped it off like you fucking bitch, you know, like this ain't shit. Like that to me was that was improv, bro. Like we did not plan that. It was just like I want to see what this really looks like, and it read perfect. You know, it's like bah, and then you see Chad and he has to be fucking boom, boom, like he has to do it robotically as opposed to like just being himself. You know, so it was like it's crazy, bro. Like just that dynamic and how much it reads. It's important to connect with people like this because their perspective is that cinema, what people feel. Like that's their fucking that's their bread and butter. You know what I mean?
I mean, what you know, like how do you, like when did you get into that shit? Because to me it's like I've always known you. I mean, you were in the first battle I ever went to, so like since I saw that, you were already on a certain wave, like different than the other dancers, you know. So did you like, were you always attuned to cinematography? Were you always attuned to it, or was it you were getting opportunities later on? And like
it was later on.
Later on.
I've always lived a movie. I felt that, you know, like when it came to dance, every new song was like it was a moment in my life. And I can fucking tell you, like, when I was listening to Mars Volta, I was going in a transition in my life. When I was listening, like, heavily to Led Zeppelin, I was in a transition in my life. When I was listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers, I was in a transition into my life. SouL, you know, like, there's these artists that made me really feel like I was living a fucking movie, you know? And I would create like a soundtrack of my life, like riding the bus from fucking San Fernando all the way to Marina Del Rey. And I would fucking just zone out and just hear Mars Volta, like their albums back to back, and just like, damn, like, and I look at scenery and I would just like try to match if this is my life right now, you know what I'm saying? So
I think I'm similar in that way too.
Like, and I try to
hours of music.
Like you have to really like entertain yourself in a way where it's like even the streets have sounds and a rhythm, you know, and it's like a constant fucking flow. There's birds in the morning that have a certain flow. Like when your body responds to everything and anything, and you feel comfortable enough to where it's not corny, then I feel like the confidence becomes more of a dynamic feature. So back to the point is like everything I've done, I felt like is more cinematic, you know, and I felt like that's what made me fall in love with movies, is it brought me into a world where I felt like, wow, like I could really see myself. Yeah, this is tight. But yeah, I could really see myself doing this while dancing. But look at my style, bro, like the slow motion. The slow motion isn't about fucking being a dance move. I'm not making it extreme. I'm literally just living my fucking everyday life, stepping, fixing my hat, blinking my eyes, breathing, like everything pretty much becomes like the controlled essence, you know what I'm saying? The same with waving. Like I don't create a fucking wave to be like wavy. I like a constant flow. So if I'm going to flow through, I should be able to walk and do this at the same time. And then every step is like a whole different structure behind it. You know what I mean? So like every step is like a different scene. So it's like those film strips, you know, it's like everything is captured picture by picture. So I know for a fact when I'm stepping in every single step, it's an actual fucking, it's a real life movement. Like I'm really doing this. You know what I mean? Like that's really the reality. So when I'm ticking and I'm doing some shit like this, it's like, it's just me opening my hands, and that's it. That's it. Like, so the technicality behind my style is really about just being me. And then the dance comes in as just me dancing. And then me pausing in the dance and then creating a texture on top of that to create a different scene, you know?
Yeah, for me, like, it's interesting because, you know, so many people, I mean, around the world throughout time, like, in your journey, I mean, you met resistance early on in your style, you know, it was ticking, waving, all that sort of stuff, but then eventually it started to become accepted, you know, it's almost undeniable in a way. But then what happened next was kind of interesting to me, and I've witnessed it, like, as I've traveled the world and seen your footsteps left and, you know, your fingerprint is left, and it's like you've become like a male role model for a lot of people, you know? Yeah, and it's like you've inspired so many people throughout the world, especially like men, you know? Most poppers are men, but the style that you represent is like that, it's like alpha, you know? And I think, I mean, these are just thoughts and theories, but like the idea of, you know, visual performing artists, I think, have a lot of deep insecurities, you know. That's why we seek out like external validation in a lot of ways, right?
For sure.
But then when you see your dance and the way that you are, and kind of humble and this calm, collected person, they gravitate towards it, you know. And it's like this, you are the male role model for a lot of people, and that, I don't know, I'm sure you didn't probably see that coming, right? Like but like throughout, you know, whether it's in Montreal or LA or in Asia, you know, all these people looking up to you because it's like this like the cool, the undeniable cool right here, you know?
I see.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know where I was going. What are your thoughts on that? You know,
I mean,
like,
I've only wanted to inspire people, like, and to be better, to be better for themselves, like, because I felt like, you know, depression is a huge factor, you know, insecurity is a huge factor, and then, you know, being told that you can't do it is also a big fucking factor. You know what I mean? Like, we don't get support from our family when we want to dance. They're like, well, what kind of dancing? Like, what is this? Like, this is street dance, or this is break dancing, you know? Like, so when I remember just, like, the resistance was even further back, bro. Like, you know, girlfriends didn't want to support me or nothing, and it was just like, but I feel like if I give up, there is gonna be no hope for the future. Like, that's how I felt, bro. Like, I don't know what it was inside of me, but it was like, if I quit fucking dancing, somebody is gonna fucking just not move forward in life and not be inspired in some way that they can do it too, you know? And it was weird, like, it was so fucking weird, but I stuck with that, and I was like, you know what? You know, when I went into fucking smoking weed and becoming a pothead and almost forgetting, like, who I was at one point, and just at my lowest, one of my lowest fucking points in my life, when I was hanging around with drug dealers and, like, all these real life fucking moments, going to jail, going to prison, you know, and like those moments where you hit the lowest of lows, and it's like, how the fuck do you not give up and then move forward? Like, how do you move forward at this point? Like, what else is there, you know? And living in prison, bro, dancing was literally what brought me back to life. Like, what gave me substance, what gave me purpose, what gave me more of like an acknowledgement of self, because I realized even in there, I could inspire motherfuckers to start writing, to start rapping, to start really focusing on their craft. Like, people came out when they were on the road.
So, like, when you were in prison, just a little history on us too. Like, I met you just before you went in there, and then that the unfortunate things unfolded. Then, like, you kind of told Devious to like mentor me when you were in there, and then when you got out, you came back and we started training. But like when you were in prison, like I've heard you talk about it a couple times, but like what was your day like? As in like when would you dance, you know? Because I remember you telling me like, oh, you had to dance a particular way also in prison. Because you can't just be on some like goofy shit. Like you could be on some goofy shit, but there's a certain kind of energy you got to put out.
It's a certain aesthetic, like in a persona and energy for sure. So like, I'll use this, like you can see this in the camera, right? So I had these like, I don't know, they were just fucking big blocks of concrete. So it's just a floor. And for some reason, there's always cracks in concrete, you know, so that they can measure everything out. So like, I had one strand of concrete that was like, okay, I'm gonna use this spot. The tower was right there, just like the tower we're looking at here. Like the tower was over there, the water was there, the ocean was behind us, but it looked like it was in front of us. You know? The weight pile was on the other side of this building.
This is San Pedro, right?
And then there's at Terminal Island. Then there was this building here that was like a quarters for like a learning center and also a housing unit. But like I had this little, pretty much this really wide space of territory that I could just utilize, you know?
Were there other people out there?
For sure. So on the daily routine, I get up like at 6 in the morning, I grab the dirty towels, I take them to laundry, I go fucking eat breakfast, I go have breakfast, it was just cereal and that was it. And then I come back and I lay out until like 11 o'clock, or no, 9 o'clock. Yeah, till 9 o'clock. And then I get up and then I would do my orderly duties. I clean the windows or dust or whatever the fuck they needed to be done for that week.
Mainly janitorial stuff.
Yeah, it was just because we were orderly, so we were able to stay in the unit while everybody went to work. So we were the only ones still in the unit all day. But then that gave me time to like read, and I would listen to fucking classical music, and I would read or I would write.
So you had some sort of musical, like you had an iPod or something?
No, at that time the iPods didn't even come in yet. We only had these AM/FM stereos. So like that was just my daily routine. I'd find classical music or oldies or something to get my creative juices flowing. You know what I mean? So like I said, like creating music to become my soundtrack, you know? So classical music would put me in the mode to just be like intellectual and just on a path where it's like it's not triggered by beats or anything else. So I'd write, I'd read, study, whatever I needed to, write letters to all my peoples and shit that were writing me letters, and just like get everything prepared for like the week. So daily, this is me daily. And then by 11 o'clock, we get ready for lunch. But instead of going to lunch, we would go to work out. So then you can either go eat and then go straight to work out. Me, I would just basically make a pre-workout, which was fucking oatmeal, peanut butter, this cream that turned into milk, like powdered milk, and then coffee. And then boom, I'd blast that, and that was my pre-workout. You know what I mean? So, and I would go out at 12, and at 12 o'clock was 1 hour of music from either The Beat, Power 106, or K-Day. So every 20 to 25 minutes, they would have a mix. So it would go from basically from 12 all the way to 12:20 or 12:25, and then by 12:35, sometimes 12:40, they would finish the hour of mix. So I had 1 hour to basically get it in. You know, so I would just use my time. Sometimes I get out there at 11:30 and I would just stretch and then just have my zone. But what I did notice was I'm not in my territory. I'm in everybody's territory. So sometimes a dude would just be naturally prone to just be next to somebody. You have a fucking open space, dog, but they're just prone to be next to people doing workouts. So you're programmed that way. I didn't realize this. I was like, why the fuck is this dude doing burpees literally right here? Well, I'm trying to fucking just get my shit on, you know what I mean? So I had to figure out a way.
Just all up in your space.
Yeah, dog, so I get my water bottle and I would put it right here, and I would fucking get whatever else I had, my shoes and my workout boots, and I'd put it right there, and I would create like a zone. You know what I mean?
Like fucking.
But if somebody, somebody would come walking and they're walking towards us, I'd fucking go off. bah, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, bah. You know, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
super hard, super crazy.
Yeah.
So then they would just be like, oh shit. They'd be triggered to basically
Yeah.
go on the outside.
And you have headphones?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you look extra crazy.
Yeah. So
I
I'm
do that
dancing.
shit at the gym too.
Yeah, and it's just like you're going super hard, and people are like, they just look at some dude moving around.
Yeah,
you know,
like, yeah, they don't even
but
know what you're
in your own world, you're just like fucking,
bam,
boom, cha.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's all in there. So I had these big headphones that actually were really comfortable around the ears, and then my boy French braided it to the point where like the cord wasn't really long. I had joggers to go over my shorts so that the radio wouldn't fly out.
Yeah.
And then it would come underneath my sweater. I'd throw a sweater on and a beanie, my headphones, and then I would lock it so that it was basically connected to my head so that I could do whatever the fuck I wanted after that. You know? So literally, that was my outfit daily.
Yeah.
And then after that, I take out the joggers, I put on my workout boots, and I go lift weights for 2 hours.
Yeah.
With like these
Big
swole ass motherfuckers,
burly
bro. You know,
assholes,
so that.
I've met a couple of them, right?
Yeah, you met Hopple.
Yeah,
I met Hopple. So like we'd work out together, and then I'd go off, pretty much gassed after that. So I'd go to sleep, and then I would sometimes skip dinner and just eat fucking soups. You know, and soups meaning top ramen. And then sometimes at 7 o'clock, if I felt it like the need, I'd go out to the handball courts and just like try to find random songs that I could flow to. And sometimes I wouldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So I would just stretch and just in my mind manifest, you know, I would try to dream constructively about what I wanted to do when I got out, you know, or if people felt me in some shape or form, you know. So it was just my way of projecting in a whole different environment.
Yeah. I'm curious, man. Maybe you don't want to talk about this stuff, but I haven't really heard you talk about it much. I mean, I think I've talked with you about it a little bit, but like, I want to get into like a little bit of like the mentality, like into before you went into prison, right? Because I feel like I'm sure I can relate. Many people could relate to this. Is like the actions that you took to get you in prison, the kind of mentality or almost desperation that puts you in that situation. I think a lot of people are at. They just may not have the opportunity to do what you did, right? They don't have those connects or whatever, or it's just not within them. But like in your mind, like what was it like? Because I think it stems from being a starving artist in a lot of ways, right? Like you got to come up with some cash, you know, you got to have a hustle or something, because as a freestyler, you know, we have big dreams, but like when do they ever really actualize? And you know, we always get maybe once in a while we get like an industry job, we get a lucky connect or something.
If you're in town, if you're in LA.
If you're in LA and you know the right people, and they just happen to need a freestyler, and it's like maybe they'll toss you a bone, and you get a quick check, and you might get used to it, you know, where you're like, dang, I danced for 15 seconds and I got 10 G's. What? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So was it like a something where you got like addicted to the quick money, or was it like this kind of, you know, what was it that kind of?
What's crazy, what people don't understand is like, I'm not great with my expenses, right? But what really fucked me over was the fact that I could get quick, fast, and large amount of money by doing basically nothing.
What we've been doing for hours in our backyard.
Do for hours and shit like that. But at the same time, I had a 9-to-5 job, and the stability and security was I already had that. So for about a good 10 years, since like maybe 2003 is when I really started to try to get my shit together after high school. After graduating, I became a pothead and was just like, it's just a whole nother fucking trying to get a good job. And I would dabble into like getting, you know, commercial work, and then I would do this like TV show here and there, and just like, but I was like, you know what, dude, I'm tired of it. I want to fucking get a regular job and have, you know, security. Like that was one thing. I'm grateful that my ex-girlfriend was and wasn't. She wasn't very supportive in my craft, but she was very like, very realistic when she was like, dude, this is not going to pay your bills.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, fuck you, but at the same time, thank you, you know?
Reality,
so yeah, it's reality. It's like, you know, I wish you would say something more like, you know, if you really try harder, you know, or instead of just saying like, this isn't going to fucking do it. Like, we had no other choice.
Yeah.
So,
Hold up one second.
yeah, there's a bunch of trucks coming in the train. So 2010 hits. I did Step Up 3, some LXD episodes, and then at the same time I had a 9-to-5 job, which is basically a salary, you know, so I would get paid about 40, almost 40 G's a year just off my regular job.
Yeah.
But then I had to take time off. And the time off became more stressful because I really didn't want to be there. I understood that. Even though I was right at the moment of quitting dancing and just working. Because I realized all I needed was a BA to get a fucking $10 raise. Like, what the fuck? I could be making 30 an hour. Like, so I was like, just to get a bachelor's degree, like, why not? You know, and work for an insurance company, because medical here in the States will never go out of fucking business, fortunately. But, so, yeah, the desperation came in when I lost my job. I was on medical leave first, and then because of some discrepancy and misinformation and paperwork that wasn't sent in, they fired me. So I lost my job. And then I was like, you know what, maybe this is a sign. Maybe I should fully commit to dance. And Chris Scott was always like, dude, just do it, bro. Just fucking, you can do this, you know? But at the same time, I was like, I'm not a sellout though, dog. You know, like, I don't really want to be doing corny ass shit. That was my mentality, because I didn't really realize how fake TV was in general. You know, like the costuming. I didn't realize it was all persona. Like, it wasn't about you specifically. It was literally about the image of what they just wanted to create, you know? So I didn't understand that balance. I thought literally by becoming commercialized, you were a commercial fucking person. You were just a sellout. But I didn't realize that was the work that you had to do. The headshots, the fucking demo reels, you know. I didn't realize all of that was so important. So I was like, how the fuck do I get this? Even though I made about 80 fucking grand between the movie and my job, where's my money? Where the fuck is my money? And I realized, damn, I'm traveling to New York and I'm paying for it myself to be in Step Up 3. I was sleeping at train stations, dog. I was sleeping at fucking all the way in Jersey and teaching this kid for free so he could let me live there and stay there while I was shooting in New York, in Manhattan. So I had to take a fucking train from there to there every fucking day for like a good 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so all of my checks are basically going towards, and I realized I was borrowing money from my girlfriend at work. She was like, babe, like, I don't have any money, dude. And she was just like, oh fuck, you know, like, and it was just like my income was here, but it was already spent on this. So like, no matter what, by the end of the year, I'm never seeing this. Even if I fucking filed for taxes, bro, I would never see that money because it was already being spent on my daily lives. So doing the Jimmy Fallon show, doing Conan O'Brien, getting around here. At that time, I didn't even have a fucking car. Like, so I was like, I don't even understand. Like, I pay $500 in rent only, but yet I'm paying more because I realize I'm living with somebody as well. So I'm taking care of them, I'm taking care of me. And just, honestly, I just wasn't great with my fucking spending. I realized that I lost in the end, you know what I'm saying? So by the end of 2010, I'm looking at anything I can have, and it was just like nothing, dude. Like, a gig wasn't enough. Like, everything, I was in debt, bro, for like 20 racks, you know? So I was like, damn, how did I fucking end up in debt? So that's what brought up the desperation of like making money quick. And then, you know, so this opportunity came to make 20 grand. And just like that, because we're trained to be fucking, you know, victims of our own society at sometimes, like, my mind was going, I'm gonna get headshots, I'm gonna get my demo reel. Like, I was already asking people, like, who's your go-to person for this and that and this? So the $20,000 that I was offered for basically to bring drugs into the States was already spent. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't thinking about the consequences. I wasn't thinking about the fucking the fact that I would basically, my life would be taken away. You know what I mean? And thankfully, bro, like I feel like maybe guardian angels were looking out for me, but it was circumstance, bro. I literally didn't do the time I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And people made some claims that I fucking was a rat and blah blah blah, but dude, I was working out with the fucking top dogs, bro. Like there was no fucking way I'd be walking the yard that comfortable in my life. There was dudes in there who were doing worse shit, PC'd up, you know what I'm saying? And like for me, it's like I just laugh at that shit because some people would talk all that but never experience that life inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people came out and like spoke up, you know, talked about the stuff that you, you know, like the stuff you've contributed to the community, and you know, the Grade 1-8ers and all that, you know. I'm sure, and like the people that you know in the industry, you know, vouching for you as a person, you know.
But on that, like, I took full responsibility for my actions, bro.
Yeah.
And I waived my indictment, basically meaning instead of looking at the broader picture and saying I'm a part of this fucking plan, I said nope. I did what I did. I know what I did, and I'm fucking guilty.
Yeah.
Give me my time and let me do it in peace.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the best advice that my attorney gave me.
Yeah.
Not to mention, my girlfriend at the time worked her ass off to pay 25 grand for my attorney.
Yeah.
So that was another fucking gifted person that was behind me, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, she was dancing, she was fucking stealing shit, doing anything she possibly could to make up for that money because she felt guilty.
Yeah.
You know, and that to me, that means more than anything. And I fucked up by not realizing that until later. Because I didn't know that. You know, my fucking attorneys, what's that, their first fee? What do they call that?
Retainer?
Yeah, the retainer's 10 fucking G's, bro.
Oh, yeah. And they can spend that. Like,
and they need it in order to help.
Yeah.
So when this dude came...
You gotta put that in there.
Yeah, he was like, you know, you're really loved out there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that mean? Like, I don't understand. You know, I didn't know anything until I finally talked with him again after I got out. And that shit to me was crazy.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah, it's crazy. This kind of the desperation, man, I think is something we all kind of experience. And the thing is also, it's understandable to not be good with money, you know? Like how many people, like if you look at statistics and you see how many people are in debt in this country, there's like not even, I forget the crazy percentage, but the amount of people that actually have money saved, you know? My theories on the world are like how well can you navigate debt. If you're rich, it's how well you can navigate debt. It's like taking out these $100 million loans and then so your assets, you know, like all this imbalancing, but really they're in severe debt, but they're making tons of money. How does that make any sense? But then on the lower end where we're at, it's like debt to us is death. Like it's like death by debt, but it's like this, you're buried, you feel the pressure of it, you know. But like for example, if you take out
you're trying to get out,
if you got $1 million loan to start up a business and you're bringing in like 30 G's a month, and like you would think that 30 G's is going to go back to paying that million. No, you're just making payments, but really you got like 20 G's to spend, you know. It's like this. So there is a big, and a lot of it has to do with education, how we're raised and all that, and how to navigate that system, you know. But like the fact of desperation and kind of the culture that we come from too, it's like we're not educated on how to spend our money, how to save.
No, like when I went to high school, they no longer had economics. Economics wasn't a fucking class anymore, but it was for my older brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
The credit card companies probably did that, yo.
They were just like, yo, fucking, there's too many loans out right now. Let's just fuck them up. You know, it's like, let them figure it out because they're new millennials and shit, and we're the
let's get them all in
kids.
debt. Yeah,
we graduated the year 2000, so we're the future.
Well, the crazy part to me is that this whole society is like, at 18, you're making some of the biggest choices in your entire life. What, dude, when I was 18, I was a bad kid. Like,
same.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing, and now, oh, here, we're going to give you $250,000, just sign here, please. And you're like, oh, yeah, for sure. And I don't got to pay that off for 10 years or 6 years when I get out of school. Yeah, that's way down the line.
Like, I've always wanted to be on camera. I've always wanted to be in the movies. Like, I've always wanted to meet the stars, and like, damn, I'm doing it now. But at the same time, like, I never in my mind thought, like, as a kid, how to micromanage my investments or how to make investments or how to... I had to learn that from the streets.
Yeah.
I had to learn that from people that weren't making an honest man's living. You know what I mean? And that was my source of inspiration. But it was like, what do I do? Put it into my car? Like, that's an investment? I don't see that as fruitful, like, for me. Like, I don't feel like that's gonna help me at all, but other than trying to make me look good.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy, bro. Like,
well, I feel like, it's really it's a really natural thing. I was talking about this the other day with somebody, but like, to start hustling is probably the easiest thing. To me, it's like, okay, yeah, I got homies. Oh, they smoke weed. Oh, it just so happens I have extra, And it's like, wait, I'm gonna get paid for having extras? Like,
yeah.
Let me re-up on that. And it's like, for me, early on in my, I don't want to get, boxed into criminal activity, but like, as far as this idea of like having a surplus and making money, the reason I didn't apply for jobs early on in life is I was so insecure and anxious about job interviews. It was as simple as that. I was just like, this is the most anxiety-provoking thing. Public speaking, if it was in any syllabus in class, I would drop the class. Like, I was like, just in the final, it was like, oh, you have to give a 5-minute speech. I was like, I guess I'm not taking this class.
What a fucking asshole.
So then it was as simple as that, but that propelled me in my own way, and it's like, well, I got to make it work. And this makes the most sense. It's like, yeah, I'm cool with my homies, So when you're educated in a natural way, if you had things that were decriminalized, like, why are these things criminalized in the first place? There's a whole system at play where there's companies making these criminalized, and what is the most natural free market system in the hood is basically these substances that are floating around, and it's the money that's in the hood. It's just circulating, and you're like, well, I'm naturally gonna get swooped up in that, And I'm not saying I'm from the hood. I'm a middle class dude, but I still got swooped in that.
Yeah.
Because I'm hanging out with all types of people,
Yeah.
So it's a crazy system, man. But like, now, dance kind of took me out of that,
Yeah.
But my whole value system changed, where it was kind of like, how frugal I am. How many times we would go out to eat and I'm just like, I just have a water.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was brought up in a famine state. I was brought up in like, dude, I don't know I never really had money, And so this kind of like, well, shit, yeah, I might have money now, but I don't know when it's gonna dry up, So
yeah.
I'm always in that state. It's like, as an artist, I relate it to intermittent fasting, right? Is it the kind of diet that everybody's on right now? Is like, oh yeah, you have this period of fasting, then you refeed. Well, that's kind of how an artist is, except you don't know how long, when you're gonna get that next meal.
Yeah.
So you're hungry. So any opportunity that comes, you're like, fuck, I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, well, for me, it's also like I'll tell you one thing. I've never done it for money. I've never done it for money, dude. And I'll stick to that, because even though there was times I have done it for money, like, it wasn't the concept.
Yeah.
This, to be in the movies and all this shit, wasn't about being rich.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I think people have. They look at me and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I don't do it for that. I don't do this to fucking make money off of my people. Like, I don't do this to, like, and I had this discussion recently with somebody, and I was just like, I don't understand how you can create this like fictional character on the internet now, or like through YouTube or whatever, and like people love it, and then they share it, and they accept it because it reminds them of their cousin or somebody else, and it's like, but it's like they do that in movies all the time, you know, and you have this one character specifically making hella money off of this fucking corny ass like feel. Like, to me, I just feel that's corny, dude, you know, like, and it was really never about that. Like, it was the artistry, you know, just that, and then having some kind of security, you know, but it wasn't about really like becoming fucking rich.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can hear it when you talk about it. Like, your approach to artistry is not about like winning, or it's not about making money. It was like, that was a byproduct of like people appreciated your artistry. There's so much, like, I'm all like obsessing over dance economics these days, right? Because
no, but it's good. It's good that you ask these questions, and it's good that you get different insights, because, you know, somebody like Chad, you know, the homie Chad, and he makes his money doing product placement, and that's fucking awesome. Like, I can't knock that, but I don't see myself doing that. You know, the same with Poppin' John, like, you know, the website and that. I was just like, I don't know, man. I don't see myself doing that. Like, I love it. I just love it, you know, and it's like, you know, people really want to like, well, why don't you make money off of it? I'm like, because that's not what I'm in it for, dude. Like, I would rather fucking quit and just have a regular job and have no fucking stress, dog.
And dance in your backyard all day.
And like, fuck this shit. This shit is just fucking simplified, you know? And like, nowadays, it's like the fucking, you win, lose, and you're fucking talked shit to by your own crew members, or you're just like, you're getting fucking slapped, and it's like, because you're not respecting, or you're labeled something, or you're just like, I'm like, dude, like, it's just fucking dance, dog. Like, it's become a market in some way, shape, or form. You have Red Bull, like, you know, I'm supposed to go do this Red Bull shit tonight, and it's like, I'm really going, you know, are they really about the fucking culture? And I question it every gig I get. I'm like, are you guys really trying to help us, or is this just a game for you? Because I want to feel like, okay, this is something we can thrive from, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to have to just throw this opportunity away and give it to some fucking lame, you know, who doesn't deserve it, who didn't really put in a lot of work, or the type of work that should be appreciated, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of motherfuckers that put in a hell of a lot of work, and that's not the work you should appreciate, you know, just because you're disrespecting, or you have a certain gimmick, or you're, you know, specific to a certain style. It's like, yo, do the work for the community and let that be the appreciation standard, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, for me, it's like, we have all these different facets, and we can have like different compartments. Like, you could do some industry shit, and that's just work. Like, you're a pawn in the game. But if you're willing to do that with your artistry, more power to you. It's not like, I always felt like kind of, that's like against kind of like street code, like the underground culture. It's like, you're a sellout, you know. I always felt that, but now I have a different perspective on it, and I see success, you know, and like, if you can compartmentalize your stuff, like, to me, I kind of developed like and I'm sure you have too, is like, kind of, if dance feels a little sacred to you, it's personal, you know. So then when you have to sell it, it's like, it feels a little weird, you know. So if you can compartmentalize this, also like with community work is beautiful, and I wonder your thoughts on this, because somebody was saying this the other day, was talking about like, hey, if you have success with dance, you should just be giving workshops for free. And I was like, there's multiple perspectives to that. One, I say like, oh, that's cool, that would be dope, but it also sounds like you don't want to pay for a workshop. So, but it also feels like, look, money is also how we all eat, and it's not like we're stacking tons of bread. And for me, like, I want to earn money outside of dance, so I can bring it back to the pie, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna go take this workshop, like, I'm so glad to give you this money because you traveled all around the world and studied this shit. You went through years of battles, and now like you're a beacon for me of knowledge, and I can reimburse you for that.
Yeah.
Like for me, when somebody pays me for a workshop, I'm like, dude, like all the plane tickets I bought for myself to go study under different people and learn different things, the time that I've applied my mind, if that was any other place but dance, I would be like rich.
Yeah.
You know?
Straight up.
I made a post the other time. I was like on my robot clip, I was like, sorry, mom and pops, like this is you could have had a doctor, but you got a robot.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, I'm content with that too, you know. And
man, it's fucked up. People's views, people's perspectives. Like, I don't really see. Okay, so if I dedicated myself to being like on TV, like if I dedicated myself to be on TV, you know, exercising, the diet, the this and that, and I got these like commercial works, and this is my comfort zone. Like all I want to do is just commercials, you know, for products and for whatever else, and like. Fuck the sponsorships. I'm not going to even go on that level. It's just I just want to work for every possible brand there possibly is, from Buick to fucking Vans, like you know, like. But what's the difference between me standing on the street and fucking making money just doing this shit daily? This is all you're doing, and you're taking from people who are just appreciating your art form or your dance or your film. What is the fucking difference?
Yeah.
I really don't see it.
Yeah.
Like, how am I a sellout and you're not?
Yeah.
When you're completely covered up in this makeup, and you have this characterized persona, and it's not really you, because it's not like you're dressed like your fucking gangster self or corny self or white self or brown self or black self or yellow self, whatever. Like you're not you. You're a fucking commercial entity making money on the street.
Yeah.
What's the difference? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so when I had to really like dig that deep and say, who's really the sellout here? You know, like when I can just be in so many different avenues. Now, when it comes to the free workshops, right? I teach free workshops.
Yeah.
I've given last Saturday, I gave in a free workshop to help another program bring in other people. To give them an idea of like what the opportunity has for them, and these are opportunities being built off of somebody who just decided, I feel this is missing in a lot of when it comes to dance and training, and it's an awesome program. So it's like a syllabus, and I'm getting inspired. Like, damn man, I think we really could do something like this too, you know, in the Valley. And I was like, but you know, when it comes down to it, it's like, is it really about the name? Is it really about what you're being taught? Is it really about the way people, their presence in society? Like, it really is about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, so who's really the sellout? You won't take my workshop because I do this for a living, but yet you'll go and tell somebody to dance with somebody else because they're famous. Okay, so I have all these commercial dancers in my. This is what I love about teaching at these major studios, because I get to really see people's weaknesses and their strengths, and I love to use that with them, not against them, but with them. You know, like appreciate your weakness, appreciate that you can't fucking do it. It's okay. Like, just look at yourself and be like, fuck, this shit is. Like realize how dedicated I've been, and just appreciate that. That's all we fucking ask for, you know? So when I go and teach at these commercial things, and I realize that, you know, I had one of Chris Brown's students in my class. I had a few actually, but one of them like literally walked out because he just didn't want fundamentals of popping. He wanted that, I guess he wanted the magic. He wanted the secrets. He wanted to learn some kind of flow or some key thing, and just instead of really grinding down to fucking the basics of footwork. I'm like, bro, this really isn't your shit, huh? Like, you really don't want to be here. It's all good, man. You don't have to be here. You know what I'm saying? So like, and it was like, he still wanted to pay me, and I was like, dude, I'm good. Like, it's all good. Like, don't even trip. If you're not satisfied with what I'm teaching, that's okay. I don't need people like you in my fucking class. Like, that's plain and simple, you know? So like, and for me, it's, what am I gonna do? Teach people how to do me? What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck would I be doing? Like, everybody around the world steals my shit, but why would I give it to you for you paying for it when I can give you something more for yourself to value? When you're saying, oh, I'm giving $15 for, because goddamn, I didn't know that I could do this with my feet. I didn't know that I could step this way. I didn't even know that hits and timing and, you know, these patterns and these ideas that are being pushed together and processed, and saying, okay, but at the same time, the studio I rented myself, I paid for it, so that you all can be here for 2 fucking hours instead of an hour and 15 minutes. 30 minutes shooting a fucking video, or an hour and a half. Hours, bro. But on real shit, like, yes, some of us should be teaching free workshops, but not every fucking day of the week.
Nah. I mean,
here and there. But I'll be honest, bro. You know how many people showed up to my free workshop? 5.
Yeah.
2 were reoccurring students. 3 were new. Who really takes advantage of this shit?
Yeah. Well, in LA, it's kind of a different thing now.
Now, in the States, I mean, in overseas, you're
you can't
guaranteed.
get in the class.
Yeah, you're guaranteed to fucking pack a house, because they're like, damn, like, we really do struggle, but yet they don't have to pay for healthcare and all that shit either.
Yeah.
In some places, like in Europe and shit, you know. So like, what do you mean? You are struggling and shit, but your homelessness isn't on the level of fucking LA, dog. Like, I'm sorry, I've been homeless. In my own fucking city. Like, you know, I have families, and I just didn't ask them for their help because I was like, I need to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of this thing too. It's just, it's tough, man. It's when I go and there's a lot of things that I think about. Like, one thing that I really want to do is, like, somehow, you know, other countries, it's easier to get grants. I don't know the system here. I haven't really tried, but the thing is I would love to take U.S. money, and the people that want to devote it to art, and go to these third world countries and be able to teach them for free, because I'm out there charging, you know, in Vietnam or in Argentina, where the economy is trash right now.
Yeah, same. Even in Mexico. When I go to Mexico, I'm like, I fucking hate having to charge, dude. I just like it.
But we live here, so and we also got to eat. Like, life in LA is so expensive. So for me, it's like, can we take the US dollar and then slowly, like, donate it basically through these services that we provide, you know? And then for me, I think street dance specifically, world and like developing nations, because first off, you're building community, you're showing how, you know, you're giving people, you're facilitating people to express themselves, you're building these people up, you're allowing them to be vulnerable and work through things in their life. It's therapy, you know? And like, a lot of these styles were therapy for the hood. Like, I always think of Crump when I think about that, like, actually physically letting go of that aggression, and like in a like a controlled environment, all that sort of stuff, you know. But it's I think if we can somehow distribute it, you know, but at the end of the day, we have to charge because we live here, you know. And for me, I'm like contemplating like selling all my shit and just living out of a backpack so I can live the life that I want.
You know, I was thinking about that, and I was like, even considering like, well, what if we were to write a grant, right? And then the grant is what allows us to travel and give these kids something to where it shows them like how strong this is. But now, this is what bugs me, bro, is now because of like social media, you know, things like Instagram, you got dudes putting out videos left and right, you know, like, and I'm going in my mind like, I don't know how to connect with that because I didn't come from that. Like, how do I connect with that? How do I tell this motherfucker, this is not how you do it? like you doing it every day is how you do it.
Yeah.
But asking me, watch my video, it's not how you do it, dog.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time doing this, pressing and loading and waiting and then messaging every person when you could be fucking training.
Yeah.
Like, so how do I connect with that side? You know what I'm saying? And just be like, you know, and even nowadays, I've like, the less I pick up my phone, the more fucking happier I feel. But I'm like, I realize I do have to every now and again socialize with it. And that's fucked up because that's our way of socializing.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with you? You know, and I was like, I just put up this costume thing or whatever. This is just self fucking rant, but I was like, you know, I customized this costume and I designed it and everything, and like, mad people were like really, you know, hitting me up about it, and I just like, oh wow, like I didn't realize people really were watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't compute with me, dog. You know, like I really don't think this is the process. Like I feel like it's taking away a lot more of self and just trying to force feed and like try to force people to believe who you are, and like you said, like what was it, self, like being accepted in some places, right?
Validation.
Like, yeah, the validation. Like, how do we like, this is why I feel like going out to these places and teaching for free, and then really like, yeah, I feel like this would be a camp, or bringing them and creating a program for them to come to the States and realize this is the reality you think LA is, or Hollywood is, or you know, the commercialized side it is. Like there isn't like, I feel it's the unity is now starting to slowly dip away because now it's a racial factor. Like, there's all these fucking things that have been getting in the fucking way, dude, and it's like, what happened to just dancing, bro? Like, what happened to just fucking doing it for the love?
Yeah, I think one thing to me is just with dance, we talk about all these kind of different aspects of whether it's economics, or whether it's, you know, how people approach progression, or like how people are trying to get validation, or like tagging all these people in their videos and things like that. But like, when it comes down to it, all that stuff is separate from the actual experience of moving, right? If we simplify it, we break it down, like these workshops, we're talking about like semantics and like how to actually organize different things. But at the end of the day, it comes back to, what is your experience? What are you expressing? And how, all we want to do is teach people how to do that. I don't want to teach you my movement, but I want to give you tools so that you can express your imagination to the person next to you. You know, so we can start to actually create a space of understanding through language of movement. Yeah. And I think if we can just do that around the world, and we got shit to eat, you know, and we got clothes to wear, and occasionally a pair of fresh kicks, I'll be good, yo.
Yeah, just keep life simple and shit. But I mean, it's the creativeness. Like, you're really dabbing into people and how to help them become a creative individual. You know what I'm saying? And like, for me, I feel like when I teach a class and I talk about, like, who here works a fucking regular job? Who here is a fucking student? Who here doesn't give a shit, right? Who here is like, man, fuck society, right? Like, like, I feel all of you because I've been in every single part of that. You know what I'm saying? But who here makes fucking, like, you know, over $80,000 or 80,000 euros a year? Like, I don't know what the fuck that feels like. I'm sorry. Like, I wish I did, you know, but good for you if you do. Like,
the thing for me too is, like, even with people that make money, like, struggle is always relative, dude. Like, whether you're in prison, whether you're outside, whether you're from a middle class family and your parents are pressuring you to become something you don't, and breaking free from that, and then also, like, whether it's racial stuff, or whether it's like, maybe I'm a terrible dancer and I gotta work extra hard to do certain things, you know, all this certain stuff, whether you're working a normal job or dance, there's always struggle and there's always pain. And it's like, I don't want to not validate anybody else's reality. I'm here to validate everybody. because all of that shit is real. If you feel it and you think it, it may not actually physically be like how I experience pain, but you're experiencing pain. Even if you're a trust fund baby that's got millions of dollars, like they have the highest suicide rate, you know?
Yeah.
And we're over here like, dude, I need some money to eat.
Yeah, bro.
So the struggle is always relative, you know?
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. It's nuts.
But yeah, I know you gotta go too, by the way.
Yeah, I gotta go do this fucking Red Bull thing.
yeah. Speaking of, but yeah,
today was fun, man. Today we got to create and be artistic and try and work together, and you know, we fucking went around different curves, and this is what's really about. It's about connecting. And I feel like this was more uplifting than just going to a session and then dancing for, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like right now at this point, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna be sessioning for.
Yeah.
Even like training and exercising, I'm like, it's just, you know, my motivation is really about like, yo, I want to be creative as possible and not have to give semantics on why. You know, and just like label shit and just, my dude, it was never about that when I first got into it. You know, it's never gonna be about that as I live it, you know. And like nowadays, you got people really throwing out race cards and the word racist, and it's like, it's hurting, dude. It's hurting me, bro, because I don't know, man. Like when I started this, I was already going against the grain. I was already going against my own fucking race. I was already going against the street code on being a fucking Chicano in LA. Like, it's never about that, dude. Like, just really fucking is starting to break my heart, man. So my motivation has been really on a downward spiral, but I'm holding on.
We always go through cycles, man.
Yeah.
Always. It's like when I get in low places, I'm like, damn, man, like there it is again, you know. And the worst part about depression is you kind of like, it's here. It could be a minute. It could be something dope happens the next minute.
Yeah.
Or it could be years, you know. And it's like, how do you? That's the kind of waiting game that, like, if you've been through depression, it's kind of, you really struggle with like direction, you know, because when you get in those places, it's like, I can't see the end of the struggle, I can't see the end of the pain, so you're kind of just sitting there waiting. But it's almost like you got to do the things that are not even that's why for me, like, if I stop moving, if I stop working out, like, dude, I'm done. Like, even with that as a baseline to prop me up, like, oh, at least I get to look forward to good food and working out hard. And I'm like, okay, that keeps me afloat. The rest is pluses, yeah. But it's tough, man. Especially, you know, like when society doesn't validate your pursuits too, you know, of artistry. It's tough.
Well, let's keep it fucking going. Let's keep pushing.
Keep pushing,
I'm not gonna give up. I'm not saying I'm gonna give up. I'm just.
Nah, you're just in a period, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's not like you haven't been there before.
Yeah. There's just a lot of negative things out there, and right now I'm just like, I'm not trying to eliminate things, or just like when it comes to toxicity or positivity or fucking whatever else. I'm just like, whatever fucking moon we're under, whatever fucking lunar fucking thing we're having, or I don't know.
But that's what makes you real, man. That's what makes your art so dope, is because it's like you're searching for the pocket, like you're searching for the authenticity, you know. Like, you don't want to just be putting on a show like, you know, I'm a clown, here I am, hold my strings, I'm a puppet, you know. Like, so it's like you're just finding your center again, and everything will have its domino effect from there.
Make smart choices, make good decisions, and realize, take responsibility for your actions, whether they're good or bad. Just take responsibility. If you fuck up, know that you fucked up, and do your fucking time.
Yo, we all fuck up, so. Anyways, first show, yo. Boogie Frantick.
We went through some crazy.
Yeah.